everyone, welcome back to another week of The Guest Life. So unfortunately for me, this is my second attempt at taking all of this footage. I ended up doing the rookie mistake yesterday and not sound checking things, and it was much windier than it is now. It was awful. This wind isn't deafening you guys. So instead of putting you guys through that sound torture, I figured I'd film everything over again today. It is still a little bit windy and it's not really nice to listen to, but the reason I did want to take you into this open bay, I'll take you elsewhere shortly, is because right across here is the marina that we launched the boat at, and just to kind of prove the point that we cannot boat right now and we are just patiently waiting for the ice to get thick enough so that we can snowmobile back home. But I will get out of this wind. I'm just going to take you a little further downtown where you can see the line where the ice is formed up to, where it's distinctive between ice and lake. So here you have it, beautiful downtown La Ronge, Saskatchewan. We're just right in front of Main Street here. I don't know if you can see off into the distance, there's the line of ice formation. So as you can see, the ice hasn't formed a whole bunch yet, but I can't let that discourage me. I feel like with a good solid week of about -20, we should be able to get a good layer of ice on the lake, enough to hold a snowmobile anyway. It is a big lake that has to cover with ice, but the same thing happened last year. I felt like it was mild and mild. We were waiting and waiting, and then boom, we had a good cold week of -20-ish degrees Celsius, and there was our ice for the year. That being said, however, freeze up and break up definitely deserves a different level of respect. These lakes, it is a tragic truth that they claim lives every single year. It's actually a personal story of my husband's when in his youth, before I came along, where are we? Just kind of over in that direction, not too far from where we are now. He ended up going through the ice and losing a sled. The sled went down really fast, and he ended up having to break through ice as he's army crawling until he was able to get onto solid enough ice to hoist his body up. Now, lucky enough for him, this wasn't in the middle of the lake. He was in front of town, so he was able to get help, because if your cell phone goes for a swim, or if your cell phone is too cold to work, like it happens a lot out here in the winter time, you'll have it all snugged in your inside pocket, and you take it out, and within a matter of seconds your battery goes dead because it's so cold out. So you don't really have much of a lifeline if you're snowmobiling by yourself particularly, and when you're wet and in frigid temperatures like that, hypothermia sets in really quick. And the harsh truth of all of that ends up leading to my decision of never going with me and the kids on the first trip to the cabin. I always end up making my husband go, or my husband and his brother go, and they just kind of lay path and they check ice on the way. I'll hopefully get him to get some footage of that for you, because I'm sure some of you would be interested in it. They just take a chainsaw and the snowmobiles and they just check periodically, and how far the bar goes down, they know how thick the ice is and if it's safe enough to continue or not. One last place I wanted to show you guys before I let you go is the part of town where we end up going onto the lake with the truck. So John ends up plowing an ice road every year. If you want to check out some of my other videos, you'll be able to see that ice road. If you're kind of new to the channel, it's about 17 to 20 kilometers out onto the lake. So last year was great because we had amazing ice, and John was able to keep an ice road open all winter long, which is super convenient. But I will take you there to show you where we head out onto the lake, and I can guarantee you that is wide open still. So here we are, the point at which we access the lake via truck. Get on right here. When I came to film here yesterday, actually, this little skip of ice wasn't here, so that's kind of neat to see. Break through this first little layer. And look at that, did a little bit of building last night. So currently we are in the second week of November, and hopefully in about 2 to 3 weeks this will all be frozen, and a lot farther than this as well. I have my fingers double crossed that we're going to have great ice this year. Last year was amazing. The year before was horrible. So it all depends on your first foundational ice that gets set, because if you've got a little layer of ice and a whole bunch of snow ends up getting dumped on it, the weight causes pressure on the ice, forming cracks, and then water shoots up those cracks, and there ends up being this gross slushy layer in between. Those years, they're a pain in the butt, getting stuck on your snowmobile and you're soaking wet and it's -40 and you're trying to get your sled unstuck, or the plow truck is getting stuck, or it just can't push all that heavy weight and constantly breaking new roads. Not last year, because last year was great. The year before, John ended up trying ice roads so many times and coming home very frustrated, saying, that's it, I'm done for the year, I'm not putting the plow truck on the ice anymore. And then he kind of cools down after a few days and tries again, and finally the straw that broke the camel's back was one night he ended up doing a plow stand. So legitimately, boom, the whole truck came up, whole bunch of stuff was bent. He had to spend the rest of the season kind of picking away and fixing that, and he just put it away. We'll just snowmobile for the rest of the year. Those the decisions that have to be made. So we'll see what happens this year, because our first full year was quite convenient having the road out there all winter, and this year might not be one of those years, and John will just have to sled to and from work, which is okay in its own respect, because it is actually shorter of a distance to drive, because you can shoot different ways. There's some spots of the lake you can't go on with the truck because current or reefs, different variables that are going to play roles in whether the ice is safe or not to put a truck on. So I think I've covered everything that I wanted to. Please feel free to leave questions in the comment box below if you have any questions about our northern lifestyle and getting out on the lake where the ice is forming. I'd be more than happy to try and answer all of your questions, but I will leave you guys there. Have a great one, and hopefully the next time I see you, there'll be ice on the lake and we'll be that much closer to doing our first trip out for the winter season. Bye, everyone.
Ouch. That's scary.
Off to the side. Oh my god, more of them. Just chill out. Okay. Are you filming that?
It was on.
Want to say hi to my filming buddy? Hi. Bye, everybody.